Okay, so I'm just going to go over this again just like I did yesterday. You should be able to see this board in my room, but just as a reminder, you need to make sure that it is in this format. So you will have your abstract here, your problem and question. Make sure that your problem slash question is in question form. So you're going to tell what you're trying to answer, what question you're trying to answer. And then your hypothesis, make sure it's in if, then. Remember, do not write on this board. You're not going to write on the board. You're going to either use construction paper, which should be up at the front table, or you're going to use plain copy paper. Then your observation and research, and that can be observations you have made from previous experience or research that you actually did. Your materials list goes here. You make sure that they are bullet points. So if you have a short materials list, you can just do it like this. If you have a longer materials list, you may need to do it like this, where it's in 2 columns. Again, you're going to put it on another sheet of paper and tape it to the board. You can put your project title, or you can write your project title on the board. Procedures, they need to be in 1, 2, 3 step in order that way, and it should go down like this. It should not be in a paragraph. And then you can put your data table, if you've gotten that far here, your graph here, and you will write your conclusion here. You should remember that you want to use proper punctuation. You want to spell correctly. If you're writing on construction paper, you need to use a color of construction paper and a color of marker that people can read. And please make sure that when you're using construction paper or plain paper, that even though there's no lines on it, that you're writing straight. So if you have to draw lines on it, do that. You want this to look very nice and neat. Okay, so here is an example of one. There's plenty of examples you can find online where they have typed everything out and they printed it out and they put it on their board. But I wanted to find a good example since not everyone's going to have that opportunity. Where now this is the format of this one is a little bit different, but you can see how everything's organized. It has a title, it has its materials, their questions over here, their hypothesis, their research. It's set up a lot like yours. They just don't have their procedures written. But you can make it colorful, you can make it attractive and nice and neat. Even though they didn't type it, everything is nice and neat. And you notice how they put the title in there. Make sure you put the title. So here is a good example of what it should actually look like. Make sure, when I say title, I mean you're going to write question or problem. And actually, up here is your abstract. So you would write abstract, and then you would have your abstract down here. And then you would write your question or problems next. So you would write question or problem, whichever one you decide to put, and you would write that here. Notice their hypothesis is not in the format that we are putting our hypothesis in. Yours should be an if-then statement. But as far as it being nice and neat and no misspelled words and everything's able to be, you can read everything, and it looks professional, this is kind of what I'm looking for as an example. Okay, if you finish getting everything together, your folders should be up at the front of the room unless you are in 5B, my very last class. Your folders may still be in Miss Martin's class. Then you can start working and finishing up your outlines. Not all of you are done with your outlines. You have today to do it, and then you also have Friday to work on this, so that those of you that haven't started your experiment, you can start your experiment on Monday. Those of you that have already done your experiment and have your data collected and all of that, then we will do some practice with presenting, and then I'll also have some other activities for you guys to work on related to the science fair. Okay?